Hi, and welcome back to the Loony Bin. My name is Loony, and I want to talk to you today regarding a certain issue. Well, not necessarily an issue, but something that a lot of people in the One Piece community believe in, and it's not the frustration, but it's the confusion behind it that I think a lot of people don't understand. What I'm talking about is concerning the basically the family aspect of the Straw Hat Pirates. So many people believe that the Straw Hat Pirates are one big happy family where Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, Usopp, Chopper are like the brothers. Nami's the sister. Robin's the mom. Frankie's the dad. Jinbei's the uncle. Brook is the great grandpa. He's not that old, but you get what I'm saying. And I think there's so many confusion behind that to the point where it's just like, it frustrates me because it's just not how the relationship between the Straw Hats are. Whenever you talk about whether the Straw Hats are like brothers, sisters, and siblings and stuff like that, you're talking about a nuclear family. That the ideology of a nuclear family is basically that: a mom, dad, siblings, and a dog, and stuff like that, right? And that is what a nuclear family is. It's about a modern day family where they're all related to each other, and nothing beyond that. But that's not what the Straw Hats are. What they are is the ideology called found family. Found family is basically a group of people who are basically shunned by society or just, don't have anybody that connects with them. And then they basically find each other and they become a found family where they protect each other, where they care for each other, and have each other's backs. What makes the two ideologies different? Like I said, the nuclear family is about, an actual mom, dad, and then, their children. A found family is none of that. They're not related. They're just people who found each other who eventually, not become a nuclear family. They socially accept each other. And so many people get that confused. So many people believe that the nuclear family is exactly what the Straw Hats are, or they basically try to infuse the nuclear family into the found family aspect, which is not true. That's not what is happening here. The Straw Hats are not a family that is similar to a nuclear family. They're just not. So when people tell you whether Luffy and Nami are siblings, Sanji and Nami are siblings, Zoro and Sanji are siblings, and stuff like that, where Robin's the mom, and stuff like that, they're trying to enforce the nuclear family model into the Straw Hats. Whether it's because they don't like a certain ship, they don't like a certain aspect of like the relationship between characters, or they just don't necessarily understand the two different types of families. There's also other ideologies of families, but they don't understand the difference between the two. For maybe because it goes against their ideologies, maybe it goes against their theories, their ideas, their ships, or whatever, whatever it is. And that is just completely and simply wrong. Oda has never called the Straw Hats more of a nuclear family. They just haven't. He never did. The one thing that people always point to is the SBS, where he was asked, like, what would the Straw Hats be if they were a family? Oda, who answers most SBS questions, answered, Robin's the mom, so on and so forth. That's the only thing people use whenever they talk about, like, they just act like brothers and sisters, right? That's what they use. But Oda never, from what I understand or from what I have seen, if you find anything, please post in the comments about him ever calling them like an actual nuclear family. Please do. I beg you. If there is a moment where Oda did say that, you're more than welcome to show me. And then, congratulations, you proved me wrong. But I don't think there has been. And like, it's just weird that people think this way because it's just not the case. They're not siblings. They're not related at all. They're a found family. It's so much different than a nuclear family. Granted, I am biased because I am a shipper. I ship Luffy and Nami. So I constantly see that argument time and time again that, Luffy and Nami are siblings. They act like brother and sister, so they can't be in a relationship. It's weird, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. There's a bias there. However, why is it that that's a bias for them and not for Sanji and Nami? Because there's a lot of people, and I am not kidding with you, there's a lot of people who don't like Luffy and Nami because they act like brothers and sisters, but they're perfectly fine with Sanji and Nami because Sanji goes goo goo gaga over, Nami, he has his love gag, right? Why is that acceptable, not that, if they're supposed to be a family, like a nuclear family? Like, why is that acceptable? I've seen that kind of stuff, which is weird to me that people believe this, but then contradict themselves. It's so weird. It doesn't make any sense. If you're talking about them being an actual family, then isn't it weird that Sanji is going love gaga over Nami and Robin? He's going love gaga over their sister and mother. It's weird, right? Brook with his panties. That's really weird too. Another example of like a Straw Hat like reacting not very sibling-like is Usopp. If you remember, Usopp has seen Nami naked like at least 3 times or maybe even more, and he hasn't acted like, oh, gross, oh, I can't believe I saw my sister naked, ew. He doesn't act like that. He literally sometimes either looks shocked, nosebleed, or just bows in appreciation that he saw Nami naked. How is that a sibling relationship when Usopp acts like that? Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. You see how really bizarre that statement, that argument is? Like, an actual normal sibling relationship, none of them would be like that. They would be grossed out that they saw their sibling naked. It's weird. It's really weird. And Sanji, Brook, and Usopp have never acted that way. They have acted like actual pervs in the face of like actual, Nami being naked and stuff like that. So it's like, it's so mind-boggling that people believe the sibling argument. You see where this argument about them being actual family falters? Because Oda doesn't write them as a family. He doesn't. He writes them as if they are, friends. Writes them as if they're crew members, as if they're a group of people who found something that connects them and found something that where society rejects them, but they found each other because, they care for each other, they protect each other, they love being with each other. That's why the sibling argument is so wrong, or any sort of family argument is so wrong. If whenever you refer to the family model and you're referring to like, they act like a family, like if your best friend is like a brother to you, then I understand that. I fully understand that that's where you're coming from. I get that. That's fully, understandable. But a lot of people don't see it that way. A lot of people don't. And it's because they have some sort of agenda, or they're trying to use it as an argument over something that they don't agree with. And, it's completely wrong. You shouldn't do that in any sort of debate. It's not a great argument because it's not what's proven to us. It's not what's shown in the story. It's not what's shown in the manga. It's not what Oda has written. So it's very frustrating to hear people say like they're one big happy family. Great. Do you know that Oda has never said that about them? The only crew that ever has, basically from my own recollection right now, that has ever called each other like an actual family has been the Whitebeard Pirates, right? They see each other as family because Whitebeard always wanted a family. But that's still a found family. It's still a found family because he found all these people who basically, found him, they respect him, they want to be a part of his crew. They're considered a found family. And you know what happened? Assuming what if this is true or not, guess what? Whitebeard had a romance with Stussy, who was part of his crew. So you see where the comparison with the shipping stuff falls? Because even Whitebeard, who considers his entire crew as family, still, made love with someone that was part of his crew, who he considers his family. Because it's a found family. It's not a nuclear family. A nuclear family is more like, for the best example, if we're in any anime or manga, would be Naruto, where he's married to Hinata, he has 2 children, boom. That is a nuclear family right there. Now, to give you an example of a found family, Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, Shikamaru, Choji, they all respect each other, they all protect each other, they all care about each other. That is a found family, because socially everyone rejects them, but together they find what they're missing, the care, the protection, that kind of stuff. That's a found family. You see the difference between those two? So many people are, for the sibling argument, are forcing the nuclear family model into the found family model and confusing those two things, and it's just completely wrong. That's just not how it works. It just doesn't. And so many people are doing this, and it's so frustrating every time I hear people say it. I hate it. I hate it because it's not the way Oda writes them. It's not the way Oda has written the Straw Hats. Sanji automatically contradicts all this stuff. He really does. Like, Sanji doesn't even go Google Gaga over Reiju, but he does it to Nami. Why? Okay. Basically, what that means is that, it's complete contradiction. The Straw Hats are not that kind of family. They're not siblings, And don't give me that, but that's fine because it's Sanji, because that's Sanji's gag and stuff like that. But it's still weird. It's still freaking weird, And so many people use it against Luffy Nami most of all. It's so bizarre. I don't get it, but I just wanted people to really understand why the sibling argument is so bad. It's not a good argument to have because it's not how Oda has written the Straw Hat Pirates. It just isn't. you know. And again, if you have at any point in time have seen Oda say this without the SBS, because the SBS doesn't prove that at all, please let me know in the comments. I would love to see what example you have, you know, and you know, change my mind if you can. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I can at least, maybe if you weren't completely, you know, understanding or like understood where this, you know, this whole argument comes from, hopefully I made you understand a little bit. And but thank you guys so much. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to the channel if you want more of my One Piece videos, where I just talk about just anything I see in like either the One Piece community or just something that I see in One Piece that I feel like people need to learn about or talk about. And please let me know what you thought about this video in the comments. So please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.